The absolute...
Wait, start again.
The absolute queen of sauces in Italy is pesto. Pesto because it is, without a doubt, such an easy and fantastic sauce to have with pasta. There's some curious things about pesto. In Genoa, they say you've got to get the basil from Pra, the pine nuts from Pisa, the pecorino cheese from Sardinia, and the Parmigiano Reggiano from... Anyway, I've done my best. I've just got regular pecorino, I've got garlic, I've got pine nuts, and I don't toast my pine nuts. I actually just belt them straight in because I think they're all creamy. Basil. Now, you may well ask, what sort of fruitcake puts ice around a basil? Ha! Well, I got a little tip. And actually it worked. Because sometimes when you make pesto, it goes all brown because the basil bruises. Here's the trick. If you're not using a mortar and pestle and you're like me and you're using a food processor, you put the bowl and the blade all in the freezer and you keep your basil in ice. What does it do? Supposedly keeps it that bright green colour. First in, the basil leaves. They're not very wet. I mean, they haven't been in there for very long. I just picked them in the garden. 40 leaves I've got. 1 clove of garlic. Woo! In that goes the pine nuts. Now, I know you all probably have your own way of doing this and you might put some in at some stage and some in at another. I just chuck it all in. 2 tablespoons of Parmigiano Reggiano. Ratios are important. That's 1, that's 2. And 1 of the pecorino. In that goes. Firstly, I'm going to blend that up. When it's crumbly like that, oh, that little leaf's a little bit of a disaster, but that's when I'm going to start putting the olive oil in. We're going to drizzle it in and you leave it running while you go. And 6. Don't know why you'd ever go to a shop and buy it when you can make it this simply, as long as you've got some basil or you know someone that's got some basil. Look at that bright green colour. I reckon we give that a little bit more whiz. Let's make it more emulsify-y. What you could do is you could double that recipe and then you could put some in the fridge. And the way you keep it in the fridge is you put it in a jar and you cover the top with oil and the lid. How fucking simple is that? Look at that. Oh my God. The reason I'm making this pesto is because I learned to make this pasta with pesto and I just think it's fucking awesome. It involves pesto, potato and beans. Weird? Just you wait. My trusty assistant is always here. How'd you Bella? This is going to seem interesting. Potato and pasta? I know, sounds a bit weird, but let me tell you, it does something. A bit more hoo, a bit more ha, a bit more hoo-ha, ha-ha, hoo-ha. Now we're dicing. I want them really square. So as you can see, I'm expertly dicing the potato. Alrighty? Yeah. Oh, yum. Oh, and you know what? I used that, you saw that I used that purple potato. Do you know why?
Why?
It's waxy. So I don't know how long potatoes take to cook.
Wait, what do you mean it's waxy?
It's a waxy potato, like it has a waxy feel to it. When you go to the supermarket, Alex, there are various types of potatoes and each of them have a different kind of quality. Some are more floury and they're really good for mashing. Mm-hmm. And then you have these ones that are waxy, which are really good, which kind of work in this sort of scenario. Okay, so beans. Beans don't take that long. I'm not going to put the beans in yet until we've got a good boil up with this.
He's sweeping.
Who?
He's sweeping.
Wonder what that fucking bribe was. You bet he wants to use the car. Go see his girlfriend. I am cooking this with, what am I cooking it with? Vermicelli. I decided on vermicelli because it only takes 6 minutes to cook and I couldn't be tossed waiting any longer. So we'll wait for that to really get a boil up. Once that gets a boil up and those potatoes have been in there for a couple of minutes, we'll get on with putting the pasta in there and the beans, because I don't think the beans take very long either. And this is what I'm going to do with the beans. I'm going to cut them up like that. Beans, beans, beans. So that's boiling. See that? Okay. I reckon those potatoes will probably take roughly, because you don't want them to go too mushy either. So you don't want to be dishing out the pasta and all the potato breaks up. So it's a timing thing. I think they'll cook in the same amount of time as the pasta will take to cook. All of it in. In it goes. I am going to put a little timer on because I just don't trust myself. Because I get carried away, get talking, get drinking. I think I might throw the beans in now, let them cook. Because remember, we're going to drain all of this and put it back in the pot with the pesto. Even just the look of it makes me feel good. Timer's gone off and I'm just going to drain all of this. Whoa. Back in the pot, back over here. And this is where we add a little bit of magic. The pesto, in it goes. And now we're going to work it through the pasta. Is everybody just getting a bit excited out there? Look at that. That's a whole packet of pasta I've used with that one lot of pesto. Oh, yeah. Yummo. Yummo. Look at this. Oh. Oh, yummo. Looky at that. And just because I can, are we happy with that? Oh yeah.